Welcome to Special TV. Here follows a report on dismantling the former wind farm Irene Vorrink. The wind farm of Vattenfall was dismantled by the F&B group. The park consisted of 28 turbines and stood next to the highway A6. The windmills that were a visible sight for years, between the Ketelbrug and Lelystad, in the Netherlands. Enjoy watching.
Special TV is a TV channel with video reports about special transport, heavy lifting, special equipment, and trucks.
A wind farm is being dismantled between the Ketelbrug and Lelystad in the Netherlands. The wind farm had a characteristic location along the A6 and was always a landmark. The windmills that had been a visible sight for years, in the bend of the A6 highway, were removed. It was discovered that this wind farm also had a name. Irene Vorrink was its name. Irene Vorrink was in the upper house of the States General from September 1969 to May 1973. From May 1973 to December 1977, she was the Minister of Public Health and the Minister of Environmental Health. The park's license could have been extended. However, even that the technology of the existing turbines is outdated, and that new turbines are significantly more powerful, the technology has greatly improved. It was decided the park's license could have been extended. However, even that the technology of the existing turbines is outdated, and that new turbines are significantly more powerful, the technology has greatly improved. It was decided to apply for a new wind turbine license. The F&B group bought the old wind turbines from Vattenfall. The parts from these 26-year-old wind turbines can still be used as replacement parts for wind turbines like them that are still in use. The wind farm was sold through a European tender with strict rules for dismantling the old wind turbines. The installation of the new wind turbine required new permits. Consultations took place with provinces and municipalities to determine where the wind farm should and could be located. There were also consultations with Rijkswaterstaat, since the dike on which the old wind turbine stood is an important part of the infrastructure. This was the first wind farm to be disassembled by Vattenfall, and there had been occasional turbine disassembly before, but this was the first time a wind farm had been disassembled. According to partner shareholder and project manager Peter T. Faber of the F&B Group, the dismantling of the Irene Vorrink wind farm was the largest they have dismantled, with its 28 units. Although the 15 turbines at the wind farm in Germany were of a larger type. The F&B Group works with numbers of 13 to 19 wind turbines often. the construction of new wind turbine equipment is not directly involved by Vattenfall. But it helps wind turbine developers get information about the turbines they bought, like for Siemens Gamesa. With this, wind turbine manufacturers will be able to take advantage when developing new wind turbines. The F&B Group has previously experienced dismantling wind turbines that are located on water, this time on the high seas near Denmark. It consisted of 4 wind turbines. Each of the wind turbine had to have a stability plan submitted to the client before they could be disassembled. The possibility of dismantling the structure from the dike was excluded, as the pressure on the dike could not exceed 22 tons. This was already stated in the tender. 1 crane would already be enough to exceed this number. The offshore lifting plans were developed in consultation with Wagenborg. The F&B Group gave all the data to an engineer from Wagenborg. This engineer further analyzed and graphed the data. The main crane used for dismantling was a 350-ton Kobelco crawler crane. The crane that was planned earlier, from Wagenborg, stayed on a previous project because of delays. Replacement equipment was taken care of by Wagenborg. The other offshore equipment was taken care of by Wagenborg. The second crawler crane was a 130-ton Hitachi. The crane operators were Gert and Gerard Anninger. They have a lot of experience with offshore crane work. And this disassembly task was certainly not a problem for these gentlemen. And they changed cranes every 2 days. The F&B Group has 65 technicians who work for them permanently, but for their projects abroad they also hire local technicians. Therefore, to be a good employer, they attempt to listen to their employees, to be involved in the work they do. So far, they have kept their technicians employed. The F&B Group is familiar with the dismantling of wind turbines, as this is part of their daily work. They dismantle around 160 wind turbines every year. Vattenfall didn't buy Noon to get more wind farms. Vattenfall spokesman Robert Portier said that the company is looking to build more wind and solar parks. Portier says that they have already built 7 wind farms, and there might be more coming. The reason for the relocation of the new wind farm to a further location up the IJsselmeer is due to fears of damage to the dike. This was primarily because the Directorate General for Public Works and Water Management feared damage to the dike. During the dismantling of the wind turbines, the dike had to be considered, and the complete foundation of the turbines was not to be demolished, in order to prevent damage to the dike. The assignment was for the F&B Group, near their office in Franeker. Other wind turbines were built farther away from home, including the Cape Verde Islands and New Zealand. They also constructed 12 wind turbines in Siberia, as well as many projects throughout Europe. The F&B Group still has small numbers involved in the construction of new turbines, and these are often small numbers that are placed here and there as replacements. It took between half and 3/4 of a day for the wind turbine to be disassembled. This process was preceded by a day of preparation, during which cranes were not used. On some days, 2 turbines were taken apart in one day. The most challenging aspect, or rather the most difficult aspect, was that they had to take the weather into account more than usual on land. Furthermore, the technicians had to consider the limited space on the pontoons. This was for controlling the steering ropes so that the load could be kept under control. This was less than the space they usually have on land. Vattenfall already has wind farms on the water, both in Denmark and in England. They also had a wind farm in the Netherlands at sea, but they bought it out. They did this because it was a test wind farm for them, and they had already gathered numerous learnings from it. Vattenfall is now working with Swifterwind on the development of a new wind Plan Blue wind farm next to the old Irene Vorrink wind farm. And, for example, on a larger wind farm in the North Sea, called Hollandse Kust South. Vattenfall was also happy with the cooperation with the F&B Group. According to Vattenfall spokesperson Robert Portier, Sertion and Makotech will be merging with the F&B Group. The companies are taking further steps to reinforce their positioning in the Netherlands and Europe. They're experts in wind.
Thank you for watching this report. I hope you liked it. There are more video reportage on the Specialtv YouTube channel. If you would like to follow this channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much.